Hello and welcome to the Western Thunder Drumline YouTube channel. My name's Dr. Carver, back with another video today talking about marching bass drum and marching bass drum basic technique. So to start with, I want to start with the grip on the mallets. All right, this is exactly like our matched grip on snare drum, where we're going to be squeezing with the thumb and first finger, wrapping the back fingers around. The one difference between snare drum sticks and holding marching bass drum mallets is we don't want any excess stick hanging out from the back of the grip. We want our bottom finger, the pinky finger, all the way down to the butt of these mallets to get the maximum amount of force and the maximum amount of sound out of this drum. All right, but other than that, it is your basic matched grip snare drum technique, just turned a little bit different. So what I want to start with is I want to make sure that all players maintain this natural bend here in the wrist, all right, that happens from the wrist going up to the thumb. All right, so what I like to do is teach students to put their hands down at their sides when standing at the bass drum, and just relaxing their arms, and notice that there is a natural angle here in that wrist to the start of the thumb. Okay, this would be the opposite of that, but I would have to force that down to make that parallel with my body. So we're just going to ask students to have a nice, natural, relaxed shoulders, relaxed arms, and then kind of notice that natural bend in the angle there. And then just simply bring up the mallets until you get to the center of the bass drum. Okay, so starting down, hands at our sides, bringing the mallets up to the center of the drum. All right, using a mirror or some way to check that the mallet is in fact in the center of the head. And then what you'll see here is we have that natural bend, which allows us to have the mallet in the center, but keep our arm nice and relaxed. Okay, one of the most common mistakes that I see, one of the most common technique things that I see in young percussionists who are playing marching bass drum for the first time is they want to play it like a snare drum. All right, so they flatten their wrist so that they can play it with more of the back fingers and play it like a snare drum. But it's not a snare drum, all right, and it does require a little bit different of a technique. So hands relaxed down, bring it up into the center of the head, nice and relaxed in the arm, no tension up in the shoulder, no tension here in the middle of the arm, and we're just going to rest that right there. That's going to be our set position. All right, for bass drummers, a lot of times we like to have the set position with the sticks in, with the mallets up, and then bring them down to the center. All right, so students can get used to bringing sticks in and out as they go through and practice getting those mallets into the center of the head. All right, now let's talk about the stroke. The stroke, like I said, is in fact different than your marching snare drum or concert snare drum or really anything else that they would have learned when moving to marching bass drum. Okay, marching bass drum, we are working against gravity, okay, instead of having gravity help us bring that stick down to the playing surface. Okay, so what we want to do is kind of naturally let the mallet come out by rotating the wrist just like this. All right, from a different angle with both sticks, we're going to let the mallets fall out by rotating the wrist. Notice that the upper arm here isn't really moving right now. All right, because we want to grasp this basic concept of turning the wrist out and in. Okay, that's going to be the basic technique for snare drum. Once we start working legato strokes into this and we start using the rebound of the drum, we will in fact use a little bit more pivot from the elbow joint to get a little bit more power and a little bit more sound. Okay, so all together, legato strokes, hands down, good angle, mallets up into the center. All right, rotating the wrist a little bit of arm, but certainly not moving the upper joint as I'm going through that. Copy that on the left hand. All right, the same thing goes for the left. Mallet down, bring it up to the center, out, little bit of wrist, a little bit of arm for legato strokes. Okay, now as we continue on to the next stage of playing, going to stop strokes, moving to an accent to tap style exercise, and playing accented patterns, we're going to use a little bit more force in the grip to stop that stick close to the head. All right, and the stroke from the accent is going to be the same as I talked about, letting gravity and a little bit of wrist turn bring that mallet out, and then snapping that back in and keeping the mallet close to the head. All right, as close to the head as possible without having the mallet rest against the head, so that you're there to play nice soft taps in an accented pattern. Exact same thing on the left, on the other side. All right, exact same thing. But naturally, students will struggle a little bit more with the left hand because it is, in most times, our non-dominant hand. All right, so when we put all of those together, legato strokes, stop strokes with accented patterns, and then we can get to more advanced strokes like adding double beats and rolls and diddles into there so that bass drummers can play more advanced rhythms. But as with all of the other videos, we're starting super basic because everything starts with the basics of your technique. All right, if this is not nice and solid, if this grip isn't solid, if the angle isn't solid, then moving on to more difficult rhythms is going to be more and more challenging as students kind of learn more advanced rhythms. All right, so as always, please feel free to reach out to us here at the University of Wyoming Western Thunder Drumline. Shoot me an email, reach out to us through our social media pages, and keep an eye on this YouTube channel. Hit subscribe and turn on those notifications so that when we get a new video up there, you have a chance to see it. Hope you guys are doing well. Go Pokes!